He got me fired because of my appearance. Now his whole family has a new favorite employee. I was 16 and was given the opportunity to work at the grocery store in the small town where I lived. It was basically the only place for a teenager to work in town, so I was lucky to have the job. My boss made sure my work didn't interfere with my school activities, and I was happy. In the beginning, my duties included stocking shelves at night and cleaning the entire store. My boss quickly recognized and rewarded my hard work with more responsibilities. I went from being a cleaner to a cashier to an evening manager once I graduated high school. My duties as the evening manager included running the store at night, reconciling sales, taking deposits to the bank, and locking up after work. I had a great relationship with my store manager and the regional manager over our area of stores. The store was one of a few dozen in a chain started by the owner of an oil company as a way to distribute his gasoline. The employees held high regard for the owner. The few times he visited the store he was kind, and thanked us for our work. He was working toward his retirement, and his son-in-law was transitioning into the CEO role. As many teenagers in the 90s did, I grew out my hair. As my hair was growing longer, my regional manager asked me kindly to keep my hair out of my eyes. He wanted me to be as professional and approachable as possible since I was in a position of management. I was happy to oblige. In the late 90s, the store was being remodeled and ownership and executive folks in the company were coming around more often. Evidently, one of the snobby higher-ups in the company didn't like my appearance and said something about it to my regional manager. I was a valued employee, and my regional manager made it clear that my appearance was a non-issue. He reminded him that there were no rules against my long hair in the company guidelines. Nevertheless, my regional manager made me aware of the situation and warned me that this higher-up might be around again and to be on my toes if he said something. A couple of weeks later, this snobby higher-up came back to the store with some paperwork to deliver to the store manager. I had been instructed ahead of time to take the paperwork on her behalf, but she did not know who would be delivering it. I had just cut off my long hair days before and pierced both ears. The same long hair-hating guy walked up to the counter where I was checking groceries and asked for the manager. I told him that I was the manager on duty and I was expecting some paperwork to be delivered. He proceeded to tell me, "You couldn't be in charge. Our company would never put someone that looked like you in charge." I was completely caught off guard. I asked him what he meant. He said that I looked like a girl with my ears pierced and that there was no place for that here. He said that I had to take off the earrings. I respectfully defended myself. I told him that there were no rules established for appearance. I had been a model employee for several years and was entrusted with the store every evening that I worked. He reprimanded me in front of some of our regular customers for talking back to him. He left the paperwork and walked out of the store. I saw him pull out his cell phone to make a call as he was leaving. It was only a few minutes later when my regional manager called the store to talk with me. He wanted to hear my side of the story. He apologized but told me this guy was hell-bent on making an issue of my appearance. A week went by and I saw that I was scheduled for a Saturday morning. That was unusual since I was the night manager. I arrived for work and the regional manager was there. He talked with me in the office and told me how sorry he was to have to let me go. I asked on what grounds. He replied with insubordination. I was at a loss. Even to this day, I've never had any other issues at a place of employment. I told my regional manager that I was going to fight this. He even did me the courtesy of writing the number down for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I went home, which was with my parents as I was home from college for the summer. I explained to my dad what was happening. He didn't really want me to pursue the complaint, but I was determined to stand up for myself against this corporate bully. After speaking with someone at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission office, she believed I had a case for wrongful termination. They offered to see me that afternoon. Before driving to Dallas to meet with someone about my case, I decided to give the company a chance to offer me my job back. I really liked my job. I loved the people at the store and all the customers I got to interact with every day. I didn't think I would be able to find another job that gave me the flexibility to work weekends through music school and give me full hours at every break. I really wanted to make this work. So, I called the corporate offices. After some time on hold, I was actually passed along to the CEO of the company, remember the son-in-law, who was now fully in charge after the wonderful owner had retired. He was aware of the firing because he likely approved it, but he had only heard the side of the story that came from his entrusted bigoted corporate bully friend. I respectfully told the CEO that I would love to meet with him and have the opportunity to share my side of the story. I wanted to give him the whole picture of who I was, not some idea based on my appearance. He told me that he didn't need to meet with me to understand that I was a brat trying to get away with being disrespectful to an administrator in the company. I told him that I was planning on meeting with the Equality Commission that afternoon, and thanked him for his time. After my meeting, the person in charge of my case filed paperwork for wrongful termination. She said it would take a little time, but that the company would likely have to pay me an average salary for the next 6 months. It was a pretty sweet deal. I got to take a semester off from working and fully focus on my college studies while getting a paycheck in the mail. It was great. Then came the lawsuit.